Hello everybody, welcome to episode 13 of the Farscape Rewatch podcast.
Woo, lucky number 13!
Yeah, lucky. This is the episode called The Flax, and as usual, I'm CWH Hats, and joining me is Red Nightmare.
Woo!
Yeah, and I mean, the reason we say lucky number 13 is some behind the scenes. The recording for this has not exactly gone to plan.
No, we've had some hiccups.
Yeah.
Let's leave it at that.
But we're here, and it's ready to go.
That's the important part.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, we're going to be talking about this one. If you remember last week, this is the episode that Red watched out of order by mistake.
Yes. And I'll get into at some point in the episode where it's the part where I'm like, okay, this is where it matters that this was out of order.
Yeah, because it definitely does matter.
Yes.
But yeah, so tell you what, why don't we get in there? So we open up with Aaron and Crichton flying the transport pod, and Crichton is basically getting his spaceships for dummies lesson.
Yes. Shuttle 101.
Yeah, because he's familiarizing himself with Leviathan technology because he outfitted his module with some of it, so, you know, all makes sense. And he's picking it up very, very slowly.
Yes. As Aaron painfully points out.
Yeah, she's not too impressed.
No, she's like, even the most dumb recruit would pick this up faster than you.
I mean, she also says that if you don't and you fail your final exam, the simulator kills you at Peacekeeper training camp. But
I mean, I keep saying we need to start keeping a list of Peacekeepers are assholes, because this could have gone on the list.
We're going to run out of space for that. If
Okay, fair.
Believe me.
We might actually be doing trees a disservice with that one.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what Aaron and Crichton are up to, and on Moya, we've got Dargo, Zan, and Rigel is bored.
Rigel's being an 8-year-old.
He's such a child. He's like, I'm bored. I want to play a game.
Zan, I'm bored. And he's with a sticky slamming on his board, which makes him annoying now. I'm bored. Back home, I had concubines to keep me company.
And Zan,
I want ice cream. I want ice cream.
He's really pushing Zan's patience as well. It's just like,
he's showing massive amounts of restraints. I would have choked the little guy out.
Rigel, you little shit.
Grab the end of his chair, flip him out of it, toss the chair. Good luck. Go pick it up yourself.
Then we have Dargo comes in, and he's not happy either because Moya is starting.
Big surprise.
Yeah, because Moya is starting to smell, and parts of her are oozing because she's pregnant. And this upsets him
because, like Leviathans do, they ooze out of their wall, out of the sleeping quarters walls.
I mean, it's like an interior lining for them, I guess. So I don't know. Leviathan biology is weird, man.
He can't take it anymore. He's getting very irate about it.
And so we're back with Aaron and Crichton. You know, they're doing their training, and Crichton is actually throwing southern metaphors at Aaron, who doesn't understand them and is very confused.
Like, the translator micros must have gotten that one wrong.
Yeah, he says, like, slicker than snot. And like, what? I mean, even me watching that, I was like, what?
No, I didn't get that one either.
But, oh no, they're getting pulled in towards something because they thought they were in a big empty area of space because they chose that so that Crichton wouldn't hit anything.
Yeah.
But they're being pulled in towards something, and there's some sort of energy net around them.
Yeah, and basically it grabs them, shakes the ship on a nice Star Trek. Okay, you're being hit now. Throw yourself.
Side to side. Oh no.
And then it just gets stuck in space.
Yeah, they say they stop, and it's like, what reference frame? Damn it! I need to know.
There's no drift, no spin. That's impossible.
That doesn't make any sense. Anyway, and the sensors say that there's nothing out there, but clearly whatever it is blocking their view because they can't even see the stars. So something's up, and of course that is when we get the titles, and that's the hook. It's like, oh, what's going on here?
Mystery established. Let's go.
Yeah, and when we come back from the titles, Zan, Rigel, and Dargo are arguing because they're all at each other's throats because they're all
That's
grumpy.
what they do.
I mean, they're really annoying each other this episode.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're just shouting at each other, and then Pilot comes over the comm with a very loud, sort of piercing noise, and he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I must have hit the wrong button."
And like very sarcastically, "Oh, I must have hit the wrong button." Well, if I have your attention anyway.
I love Pilot being passive aggressive.
Yeah, I love him
so
like
good.
that. Like, he's still a bit salty about the whole arm chopping off bit.
Yeah, I would imagine so.
Yeah.
But he's alerting them that there is a ship approaching Moya, and it's a little kind of crappy little thing.
We see it show up, and it's basic. It reminded me a lot of a truck. It's a large, sort of, looks like two cargo holds, and then just a dingy old piece in the front. That's
tiny little cockpit, yeah.
Pulling it.
Yeah, and so he's asking to come aboard, and Zan says, well, are there any weapons on board? Like, no, yes and no. There's bits of weapons. There's not a whole weapon.
Like a trigger here, a barrel there, maybe a bullet or two.
It's like, well, Well, they let the ship on board, and so we meet its occupant, its lone occupant, who is a Zenitan garbologist named Stans.
He's a scavenger.
Yeah, basically.
But I love that he's like, oh, I'm a garbologist.
Yeah, he's also he's dressed like he's straight out of Mad Max.
Yeah, he's even has the face paint to match,
and the heavy Australian accent. I mean, which we should probably start getting used to that because
but this one's really really heavy.
Like not even trying to pretend.
I would be surprised if he actually put it a bit on a bit more.
Yeah, maybe. But he's played by an actor called Rhys Muldoon. And he actually does a really good job with this character.
I love his performance in this character. It's very high one note character.
Yes,
but he plays that one note marvelously.
Yeah, and so he's come aboard and says, "You need me. You need my help." And they're not really buying it. They're like, "What the hell are you talking about?" Well, yeah, why? You just show up and you're like, "You need we need your help." Like. That. And he starts telling them about a thing called the Flax, which is a big energy net that traps ships and they're headed straight for it. And I mean, because they haven't heard from Crichton and Aaron, they don't believe him. They're like,
no. I mean, we know he's telling the truth.
Yes, dramatic irony, I think that's called. But they're heading for what he calls a magnadrift mesh. I guess that's what it is. Okay, 75 million zacrons long. Point of order, what the hell is a zacron?
I don't know.
Like, we've no way of judging that, but whatever. Like, I mean, we can figure out what...
It's really, really big.
Yes. It's very big, large measurement. And I also like his explanation really sounds like he's bullshitting them because he says, it's invisible to sensors, you can't detect it, and I'm the only one who can help you. It's like, I can see why they would think this is bullshit.
Yeah, like, hello, meet my imaginary friend, which only I can see and talk to.
Yeah, and you'll need my help, only my help, to get through the thing. It's like, no. But he says it's put there by Zenitan pirates, and to catch ships, and, while they're sort of being led around at sword point by Dargo, Dargo's like, I've never heard of the Flax. And it's like, well, what species are you? Luxon? Never heard of them. Doesn't mean you don't exist.
I mean, good argument.
Yeah. Space is pretty big, There's plenty of stuff they haven't heard of, right? But they're not really buying it. Anyway, they bring him into the, I think it's the bridge or command, where Rigel is sitting on with his... game and still very bored.
Oh God, yeah. Kid Rigel. Anyway,
and so yeah, Rigel is sitting there with his board game, which is very much like a weird space game. It's got like perspex pieces and a light up board, and
and it's basically has two squares divided in 5 regions, I guess. Center square, and then the edges, the 4 edges being a sort of square itself.
And the game's called Tardek, and he says to Stans takes an interest in it, and he says, "Oh, do you play?" And then Stans is like, I dabble a bit, doing the whole kind of hustling him kind of
Yeah,
thing.
like, I can't play this game at all, but I really can, and I'm gonna take all your money while doing it.
And Rigel is like, oh, maybe you can give me some pointers. Also basically doing the same thing.
Two con artists at work here, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, and so then we head back to see Aaron and Crichton, and yeah, they figured out they're not moving, there's no comm signal, but the comms unit is fine, it just can't get out, and the power is drained. So yeah, they can't call Moya, and they can't receive any transmissions either.
Nope.
And so Zan notices that they've stopped responding, which lends a little bit of credence to what Stans is saying to them.
Mm-hmm.
And she's wondering what he wants in return for his help.
Yeah, and also at this point, Dargo and Zan have been looking into the Peacekeeper database that's on board Moya, and Stans is apparently in it.
Yeah. And he finds out, yeah, he's got a criminal record, he may not be trustworthy, and so Dargo wants him off the ship.
And Zan's like, well, aren't we also in that record? It's actually interesting, because Zan asks Dargo, well, what lies about you did they put in there? Not everything in that database is to be trusted. And then Dargo mentions, like, well, not everybody in that database is innocent.
Yeah, Zan.
I mean, he doesn't say Zan, but...
I mean, come on, it's implied.
It's very heavily implied.
No, like, that's...
I mean, the interesting bit is, this wouldn't have made a lot of sense. Also, Zan's troubled response to this comment wouldn't make a lot of sense if you hadn't seen Rhapsody in Blue yet.
Exactly, and that's why it's important to watch Rhapsody in Blue first and not the other way around.
It's not the reason I think the order is important. We'll get to that one later.
Yeah,
this is also important. I agree.
Yeah,
this is probably the more important one.
Yeah, we mentioned this when we sort of were comparing notes. It's like, oh, I see.
Yeah, we had different scenes in mind. We'll get to that later.
But yeah, there you go. Just sort of turned around on Zan, and yeah, Dargo wants Stans off the ship and doesn't want his help.
Mm-hmm.
And so we see Stans and Rigel playing Tardec, playing their board game, and he's like, "I got you right where I want you." And then Dargo interrupts and grabs and grabs Stans by the throat and lifts him up and is like, "Why do you have a criminal record?"
Look, I never robbed anybody in my life. Well, not anymore. Look, I got a whole list of names to vouch for me. Well, a couple of names. I love that he's like saying one thing and then like correcting it honestly downwards.
Yeah, it's like we said, he does a really good job acting this character, and it's really fun. And then so Stan says he used to be a pirate, but not anymore.
Yeah,
and
you can prove it.
And then he drops his pants.
I predicted this episodes ago, but I called it anyway. Somebody dropped their pants.
Yeah, he dropped his pants because there are murals or like tattoos or whatever on his leg from being in prison.
Yeah.
And that's his kind of proof that he's not a pirate
they basically
anymore.
Left him to rot last time.
Yeah. And also in this scene, Rigel kind of gives him a look up and down and gets slightly confused because he says, where are your,
your things? And he's like, what are you talking about? Zan's like, well, for a bipedal humanoid species, you seem to be missing some parts.
And he just says, well, our species isn't made from the standard mold.
Yeah. It's like,
all right, okay.
He has no penis.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a thing. Anyway, back with Aaron and Crichton. They haven't been able to get any signal out, but what they've done is they've launched a little message buoy, like a little thing to go out and transmit a message.
Yeah, they managed to get that out of the net, I guess.
And Crichton's got some power back on, and they're trying to figure a way out of this. We're cutting back and forth, basically, between Moya and the transport pod at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And so back on Moya, Dargo has noticed that Stans is wearing Luxon boots.
Oh, right.
Oh, yeah, so Dargo's not happy about this, and as such throws Stans in a cell, saying a Luxon wouldn't leave his boots unless he was dead. It's like... Do you sleep in... It's like, no, wait, do you sleep in your boots? Like...
No, he doesn't sleep in his boots. He keeps them very close to his chest as he sucks his thumb on his pillow.
It's just this weird like warrior race guy stuff of like, I don't leave my boots anywhere. I have to wear them all the time. But Stan says, well, I didn't kill him. He was already dead. And Dargo's like, oh, so you looted a corpse then? It's like,
yes.
He was
That's
killed
what I mean,
by
I think he says, like, yes, that's exactly what I do.
Yeah. But then Detective Dargo has figured something out here, because if you've got Luxon boots, then you must have got them from on a Luxon ship.
That makes sense.
Somewhere nearby. Says, if you take me to the Luxon ship, I'll give you everything on Moya.
And it's like, excuse me, Dargo? What?
I mean, what Stans doesn't know is that there's basically nothing on Moya apart from some
food cubes.
Food cubes, yeah.
Like, that's still relevant.
But yeah, Dargo really wants to get to the Luxon ship to get some fibers. I think he says mem fibers. It's not entirely clear, but it sounds like they're like memory fibers which have maps in them to lead him home, basically.
Also, back on the ship, on the shuttle with Aaron and Crichton. Actually, I want to point something out, because at this point, they get talking about, well, can't you repair your own ship? Don't you get basic maintenance of your ship?
Oh yeah, yeah.
And she's like, no, we're just trained to take somebody else's ship. By force? Yes. I mean, this goes back to last week where we talked about her not being able to reassemble her rifle, and we thinking like, okay, that's probably because of the mind control blocking those memories. I'm not entirely sure if she could have done it if she wanted to.
Well, yeah, it's weird because, I mean, this seems like a really bad way to train people. Like they're not given any kind of training for what happens if something goes wrong. It's like, well, that's not my job. I'm not a tech.
No. Also, the other part is like, can they fly other ships?
I mean, maybe they're trained in how to fly a bunch of different ships, but I mean, or they point a gun at someone's head and says like, "Fly me out of here." I know
that sounds like the Peacekeeper way.
Yeah, not sensible training like how to do basic repairs. No, steal someone else's ship because hopefully you landed next to somebody.
Damn it, Jim! I'm a Peacekeeper, not a mechanic.
Basically. So Aaron and Crichton are actually trying to break free again, and it goes wrong, and there's a sort of backlash from it, and some more bits fall over and pin Aaron to the ground.
Yeah.
And so like she's like, hand me that axe. What for?
And he's like, what for?
It's like to cut my own leg off.
No.
Like it doesn't come to that, but like she'd like levers the thing off.
I kind of felt that she was making a joke out of that one, being like, yeah, I'll cut my own leg off. Because that's what you think about us people. Ugh, damn it.
But good news, the message boy worked, and Zan has received the message. And so they know that Stans is telling the truth about the Flax.
Yes.
But Dargo says he and Stans are leaving on Stans' vessel.
To go after Aaron Crichton.
Yeah.
He doesn't mention the Luxon ship that he's also going after first.
Yeah, sneaky Dargo.
Yeah.
What happened to all that honor crap, man?
Hey. Zan and Rigel are his allies. He can lie to his allies. He's not allowed to lie to his enemies. This is how I play my character.
So yeah, they hop aboard Stans' ship and get ready to go. And let's just actually talk for a minute about Stans' ship.
Oh God.
Because we see the interior of it, and it's
a Doctor Who ship. I'm very sorry, but it really reminded me of the David Tennant era TARDIS.
Yeah, it's all very sort of grungy, and there are bits of machinery all over the place.
The control panel is placed like a circle.
Yep, and he has to hit things with a hammer to make them work properly. It's sort of really dark and worn, and just it looks like it's filled with junk because, I mean, let's be honest, it is, yeah. At one point, he says to Dargo, okay, we need to put some stuff in this furnace so that we can actually get out of here. It's like, here, take these green alien dolls and throw them in there.
I like that he says, like, he opens the oven, he grabs one of those things, like, Look at the. I'm a garbologist. Look at these things. Got 7 million of them. They talk. They float. They sing. They dance. One day I'm gonna make 1 million of them for us into the oven. They also burn very well.
Yeah, and he's like running around and like fiddling with things, and like the main controls for it are like there's a
Like a tube?
like a tube which he sort of reaches into and is pulling levers back and forth within there, like sort of almost like pumping like an air pump inside of it or something to try and make it go. And it's just really got this feeling
It's so good.
of like being totally made out of junk. And this set is actually really impressive. It's like it's really well decorated, and it's got like tubing hanging down from above, and just smoke and steam coming out everywhere.
It's really involved for something that apparently is only going to show up for one episode.
I don't know, maybe they'll get some more use out of it another time.
I hope so.
But yeah, it's such a good set, and so Dargo and Stans head off in the ship, and the idea is that they're going to go to the Luxon ship and only spend about an hour on there, and then go and get Aaron and Crichton.
Yeah, because Stan says, look, it's a small shuttle pod. It's nowhere on the list to be scrapped yet, so we have the time. There's no hurry to go to them.
But they also have another problem in that there is the pirate leader. They spot another ship nearby, and they have to hide from them. And it turns out that it's the leader of the Zenithan pirates called Krakich. Yeah.
Yeah, Krakich. And apparently, Stan's, when he broke out of prison, he apparently took some stuff from Krakich and his buddies. So
they're not on good terms, let's put it that way.
No.
But they managed to avoid Krakich's ship by going kind of through the Flax a bit. And Krakich is actually heading for Moya.
So he calls back like, okay, they've never seen me, they've never known me, just distract them. And Zan's like, okay, we will endeavor to distract them. Hangs up, looks over to Rigel, who at this point is high as a kite. Because he's been smoking something that looks like a water pipe or something.
Yeah, whole time, and he's just like, oh yeah, what?
It's like, yeah, I'll help. And Zan's like, I'll endeavor to distract them.
Zan is 100% done with this shit. Basically.
Yes.
Basically.
That's basically the vibe she's giving off.
But then Krakich comes aboard and it says, we are welcome and welcome guests. And he basically straight up lets them know that, don't worry, I'm not going to try and take your Leviathan because it's pregnant.
And the last idiot that tried to board the pregnant Leviathan lost 50 men.
It's like, oh, all right, okay. No, that's fair. Yeah.
Good to know.
Don't.
Mother will protect her children, Sam points out.
Exactly. Yeah, don't fuck with the pregnant Leviathan.
Apparently not.
And then, of course, Krakich mentions that he's looking for Stans, and Zan's never heard of him.
Nope.
Nope. Oh, and by the way, this is Rigel. Rigel is 16th.
What the fuck are you?
That's basically his response. He's like so high, looking at them like...
face for that one. Who the fuck are you?
It's like, who the frell are you? And Zan's just like
what? Oh,
she
God,
comes
no.
this close to face palming. It's just like, oh no,
like,
Rigel, no.
I think a Krakich is like, oh, do you play? Fuck bird are you?
He's way too high for this.
It's like, yeah, I could beat you. My eyes closed. It's like, well, let's play then.
I think we can add to the goddammit Rigel count now. I think that takes us up to 4. Oh, Rigel, no, what are you doing?
A high puppet though looks very funny.
Oh yeah, they do a really good job animating him just being stoned out of his mind, basically. Like this, so I think like the slow blinking and like the slower head movements.
Oh, it's so good.
And then back with Aaron and Crichton, they're still trying to do a bunch of repairs to the module, and they've run into an issue that the environmentals have been damaged, and they need to weld things back together. But the problem is that the environmentals are now leaking pure oxygen into the cabin. So if they get out the gas torch, then basically they're going to set everything on fire.
The whole place goes up, and I wasn't entirely sure how this works.
I mean, pure oxygen is heavily combustible, and the more of it that you have, like, you're just going to cause runaway fires.
But is oxygen the fuel source itself?
No, the fuel source is all the stuff around you.
Right, because as you add more oxygen, more things suddenly are able to catch fire.
Yeah, basically. And like acetylene torches, which are used for welding, do have like a stream of pure oxygen to get the flame hot enough to actually melt steel and so on.
Okay, that makes sense.
So yeah, if you fill the cabin full of pure oxygen and light a fire in there, it's not going to go well.
Everything suddenly becomes hot enough to actually burn metal.
And then it explodes. So
yeah. Okay,
let's not do
sets
that.
me straight on that one. I also like that at this point, Aaron and Crichton, I think it's Crichton points out, like, I mean, we could also just wait until we're rescued, and they exchanged looks. Okay, we need to get to work now.
Also, in trying to fix the module, at one point they get knocked down to the floor. Aaron does, and Crichton pushes her out of the way of some tubing that's falling down onto her head, and so she ends up on the floor, and Crichton is kind of just a bit like over her.
Like he's basically, as he saved her, he ended on top of her, and she's like, "Are you comfy? Do you want a pillow?"
Yeah, it's getting a little close in there.
Yeah. Also, I like to point out that the tubing that falls down. Remember that tubing, because it's the other guest star of this episode.
All right. So yeah, but what are they going to do? They can't get the welding torch out. They can't wait to be rescued because that's not going to go well. So what they decide to do is depressurize the cabin so that they're working in vacuum. Put on their spacesuits, do the welding, and then flood it back up again with air and try and fix some more stuff.
Yeah, it's Aaron's idea, and it's a good one.
Yeah, it's a pretty good plan. Like, it definitely would work. There's a slight problem.
Yeah.
One of the spacesuits is broken. Like, the helmet on one of them has shattered.
Yeah.
So, yeah, only one person can actually do it. The other person is kind of shit out of luck, really.
Yeah. Great. One person lives, one person dies.
And we also they don't even get a chance to make that horrible choice because the suit that isn't broken, or the helmet that isn't broken, is Aaron's, and it's not going to fit John's suit. So
okay, so they mentioned this because first they were looking to basically use a injector that induces death for peacekeepers, and also a solution that you can inject into them to revive them again.
Yeah.
Just to mention that up front. But how the hell did John get a Peacekeeper custom-made suit? Because this is clearly the same suit Aaron was wearing in the pilot.
I mean,
if it's custom fit for him.
I mean, I don't know that it's necessarily custom fit. So here's what I think. It seems reasonably likely to me that either in Aaron's Prowler, or more likely somewhere aboard Moya in her stores, there is a set of like spare Peacekeeper suits.
Oh, and that one that specifically happens to fit him.
It's like maybe Aaron has a medium one and he has a large one.
That makes sense.
It's like probably something like that simple.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
So yeah, like the helmet is a slightly different size, so it won't fit on
the other one.
I mean, what it really is a way to create even more dramatic tension in this episode.
Of course, but it was just one of those points. I'm like, wait, how did they get?
They do look very similar. They do look almost identical.
This explanation makes sense.
Okay, so yeah, they're going to have to put. They're basically going to have to kill Crichton and then revive him afterwards,
and hope that the stuff that's supposed to revive a Peacekeeper also works on humans.
And yeah, Crichton is not convinced by this, and you know, I wouldn't be either.
No, fair.
Because Peacekeepers and humans are similar, obviously, but they are very different in some ways that we've already seen, like heat delirium and stuff like that. So Crichton is like, okay, if that doesn't work, you need to do CPR. So he teaches Aaron how to do that.
And she finds it incredibly primitive, and she's like, I don't have time for this. And John's like, well, I do.
It's like, yeah, I'm not going to take any chances because I don't want to die.
I'd like to just stay the hell alive.
Yeah, and like I said, I'm with I'm with John on this. Like, yeah.
Same here. I'm in the same camp.
So, yeah, that's what they're planning to do, which, that's going to be a hell of a thing. Back on Moya, by the way, Rigel is playing Crackage on the game on his game board. And, turns out Crackage is actually pretty good at it.
Yeah. At some point, actually, the way you play it is you have something that looks like a forked stick that you use to move the pieces. And while you're doing it, you have to put your hand on what looks like a Tesla ball.
It's like a plasma ball, Tesla ball thing.
You have to put your hand on that plasma ball when you move with the stick. And he actually gets shocked, which apparently means he made an illegal move, I guess, or something. This game never gets explained.
No. I mean, it's not really necessary. It's just like, is he doing well or badly? Like,
he's doing badly, apparently.
Yeah, and Crackage is kind of kicking his ass at this. And
then he does something interesting. He uses a move that Stans used against him earlier.
Yeah, he picked it up from that, and Crackage recognizes it. It's like, where did you learn that? And he says,
all of myself. I know somebody else who does that move, who uses that move.
Good for you. I love Rigel's response. Like, good for you.
I love that response. Yeah. Typical Rigel.
Yeah. And again, meanwhile, throughout all of this, Zan is just kind of silently losing her mind in the background.
If she had it, she'd be tearing her hairs out.
Yeah. I was like, oh no, Rigel, please, no. Rigel, why?
No.
And he's lost several games. Basically, he's been wagering stuff at Crackage, and he's been losing.
He's either been losing, or you need to up the stakes as you're playing the game. I think that's actually it.
I think Crackage says, or someone, they says, right, one more game, we'll go again. So
could be that.
Yeah, and he's gonna up the stakes. He's gonna wager Moya.
And Jan's like, no!
What are you doing? And luckily, Crackage says, I don't want your ship.
No, I've talked about this. I'm not trying to take over the pregnant Leviathan. That's a bad idea.
But he is prepared to take the information of where Stans is.
Actually, Rigel offers that one up.
Yeah, and he's like, oh shit, now the jig is up.
It's like, damn it, Rigel.
Oh.
And at this point, it's like, he's like, no, I'll tell you. Stan's location.
Oh shit. We're in trouble now. Oh no.
And then we cut away because, of course we do.
Because, I mean, that's dramatic tension 101, that is.
Uh-huh.
It's like, boom. And we're back with Crichton and Aaron trying to figure out what to do. And so, basically, Crichton has told Aaron she's got 4 minutes before he dies. So once they do the injection to kill him, he's got 4 minutes, or the injection to, I guess, like, stop his heart or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
Not technically kill him, because they revive it. Because the idea is, I think, you stop the heart, and he's got 4 minutes before there's enough brain damage or whatever it is that he can't be revived again.
Yeah, what I got from this is that what they want to do is stop his heart, so his lungs also stop working, so he doesn't destroy his lungs in a vacuum. It doesn't actually make that much sense.
Yeah, thinking about it now, like being exposed to vacuum, it has a whole list of other problems. Basically, being exposed to vacuum is really bad for you.
And even if they were like, well, we want to make sure that you don't die from the vacuum, that doesn't get better or worse when he's dead.
Yeah.
Those chances don't go up or down. I mean, he's going to die as quickly as the other one. In this case, he can't hold his breath.
Yeah. I think, although what you want to do when you're being exposed to vacuum, it's the same as deep diving in that you exhale.
Yeah.
So that you don't have all the pressure of the air inside of you trying to get out.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, maybe it's because if he just gets depressurized, there'll be more shock, whereas with the medically induced thing. It doesn't do that. I don't.
That could be it.
There's a few holes in this, but that's what they got to do. So before they actually do it, he's asking Aaron about whether or not Sebastians believe in an afterlife, because people on Earth do. Well, some people on Earth. Well, some people believe different. You know. And he tells her that some humans believe in different versions of an afterlife, and she tells him that Sebastians don't really believe in anything.
If you die, you're dead. You're gone, and that's it.
Yep.
It's like, oh.
Well, that's reassuring.
Find out.
That's reassuring. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, John is. I mean, he's really nervous about this because they're going to deliberately kill him and stop his heart. I mean,
he's nervous about dying. Wow.
Funny that. Yeah.
There.
Jeez, don't be such a wimp.
It's only a flesh wound.
But Erin says, "I'm not going to let you down." She's determined to, not have him die, and so she gives him the kill shot. Just whacks like the needle in the side of his neck. And it's actually got a delayed reaction because he's sitting there like, is it supposed to work yet? And
I mean, that does make sense. They put it in the neck, and it takes a moment for that stuff to reach the heart.
Yeah,
So-
and then he just collapses and like convulses in the chair because he's been strapped in to one of the pilot seats so that he doesn't get sucked out when they depressurize. And
Yeah, and
so
then-
is Erin for the same reason.
And then Erin, she puts on her gloves. I'm like, couldn't you have done this beforehand?
Did you at least wash your hands?
I mean, and then she depressurizes. Like, could you have done this
Yeah,
before, please?
right.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
save some time. Jeez. Anyway, the depressurize and it's all air rushes out of there.
Yes.
And so she gets to work doing the welding. Oh, because, like we said, she doesn't know how to fix anything. She's no tech. And part of the reason it's actually kind of a problem that Erin has to do this is that she doesn't know how to do it.
Yeah. John has instructed her, but still.
That's why this is quite nerve-wracking, because John would know what to do, but he has to be dead for this.
For the purpose of this action, John needs to be dead.
So yeah, he's had to explain to her what to do, and so she's trying to do it, trying to remember what he said, and like this many seconds, hold this here, and basically Erin runs out of time.
Yeah. At some point, the timer that she set in motion so that she knows how much time she has. 4 minutes or 180 microns. How those two translate, I don't know. Microns, yeah. I was like, that's 3 minutes, actually, if you directly go to seconds, but...
I wouldn't worry about it.
No. And then she just shuts off the welder, lets the oxygen rush back in, grabs the injector, and piping out of nowhere! Knocks her out. The same tubing that we saw earlier.
Piping is out for round 2!
And it won this one, because she gets knocked out.
Yeah, so, oh shit.
Yeah, because
that's bad.
Oh, Crichton's now getting less shit.
Oh, yeah. Oh man, this is all going from bad to worse.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when she eventually comes to, the vial containing the nerve shot to wake him up has been smashed.
Because of course.
So not only is that not, I mean, not only weren't sure if that's going to work, that's now not even an option. So she has to go straight to the CPR training that John gave her.
Yeah, and breathe.
Wham.
Pump.
Chest compressions. I wonder if he taught her the song. I wonder if he taught her "Staying Alive" by the Bee Gees, because this is an actual thing. Like, if you are doing CPR on someone, the rhythm of which to do the chest compressions to is the same as "Staying Alive" by the Bee Gees. It's like, yes, staying alive,
Staying alive.
Staying alive, staying alive. Like that's actually a thing. That's what they use to train people to do first aid.
Did they do that intentionally, the Bee Gees?
I don't think so.
That would have been cool.
but there you go. Fun fact and tip if you ever need to perform CPR.
I mean,
on someone, which I hope you don't. Like
no, and if you ever need to perform CPR, make sure you have training in it. Cause
yes. Okay.
like,
yeah, that's fair.
That is important, actually.
See, this is not just entertaining. This is an informational podcast.
Yes. The more you know.
Do, 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 do. So she just manages to do it. She manages to bring Crichton back, but that was a tense few minutes there.
Okay, let's talk about the elephant in the room here. That's not how CPR works. As in, the motions she did were correct, but it is incredibly rare that somebody wakes up from CPR.
Yeah, I mean...
The intention of CPR is to keep oxygen flowing through the brain, primarily, so that help can arrive to revive the person.
Yeah, I mean, he comes to, and so he's okay, he's fine.
Yeah. I mean, okay, it's not how that works in reality, but I know this is...
It's TV land.
Yeah. I mean, I allow it in TV and movies just because we do science stuff. I wanted to put that out there.
Fair
That's
enough.
how that works.
Fair enough. But yeah, he's all right. He's back up and not dead.
Yeah.
But because Aaron didn't have time to actually fix the environmentals, they're in no better position than when they started, and they're still going to die anyway.
Yeah.
So.
Half an hour, tops.
Meanwhile, with Dargo and Stans, who have managed to find the Luxon ship, which we see a pretty nice CG shot of. It's kind of like it's got curves, but it's got long, spindly parts and very different.
Really cool design.
Yeah, and it's in the middle of some junk, and Dargo says he dreamt on serving on one of them as a boy.
Because it's apparently not a Voyager ship, it's actually a warship, I think?
Okay. Do Luxons have ships that are not warships? You know what? I bet they don't.
Fair point. Okay.
I bet they don't.
Comment redacted. Sorry.
And so, yeah, they've got there. They managed to find it before it gets hauled away for junk. But it's like next on the list, so they've got to get in there quickly. Meanwhile, with Crichton and Aaron, we also have found out that they have about half an hour of air left. And back on Moya, Crackage and the other pirates have left because Rigel lost the game and had to give up Stan's position.
Yep.
And so they all went about, and Zan is very upset with Rigel for doing that. She's like, how could you, give them away? You've sold out Dargo and...
Calm down. I asked Pilot to change the coordinates before they come on board the ship.
He did the bluff them.
So,
got them.
You lost on purpose? Well, it's terribly hard. The guy's a horrible player.
Apparently he's terrible. Rigel's just punching way below his weight. But
I love the fact that Rigel basically played the perfect Bard scheme here and just completely bluffed them out.
It's so good.
Gave them everything they didn't want to know while thinking they got everything they ever wanted. Nicely
done, Rigel. Nicely done. And I don't think him being high as a kite was an act, though. So that's that's
impressive.
Yeah, it's extra impressive. He did it while stoned out of his mind. So yeah, Crackage has gone and is off in a completely different direction.
Yeah, I like that Rigel points out, "Oh, shut off DRD! What fit of all impressive opponents."
It's like, that's harsh, man.
Wow.
Yeah.
Shots fired.
Back with Stans and Dargo. He's like, well, soon you'll have your own assault piercer ship, and think of the maps and the mem fibers, and you'll be able to find your son. But the problem is, at this point, they don't have time because they got held back by trying to avoid crackage and getting caught in the Flax.
Yeah, something we mentioned forgot to mention. They actually get caught in the Flax at some point and basically have to ram themselves out, beating all parts of the ship.
Yeah, because Stans knows how to navigate through the Flax.
Yeah,
as he said very early on. But it means they only have time to go to one place or the other. They either go to the Luxon ship or get Crichton and Aaron.
And because they've seen their sensors showed that the air has vented out of the cabin from the shuttle, they know that something is up there and they need to hurry.
Yeah, so they basically have to choose. And Stans is saying, well, you can get your own assault piercer, and you'll get your memory fibers and your maps, and you'll be able to find your son.
And then Dargo says, but
Yeah.
when I do, I want to be able to look him in the eye.
Yeah. And that I quite like. He's like, I'm not going to go and abandon my comrades,
Yeah.
basically. And so, yeah, they actually have to go get so they're going to go get Aaron and Crichton.
Mm-hmm.
And so we go back to them, and basically Crichton is kind of like telling Aaron that you should have saved yourself, because if she had continued working, then one of them would have lived, and like she would have lived and he would have died. Because she didn't, now they're both gonna die.
Yeah, like now both die instead of only one.
But she says she chose to not be alone, and she doesn't want to die alone.
No.
I was like, oh.
And they look at each other.
Now kiss!
And they do.
They do!
They start making out.
They do.
Oh, by the way, one point that I was like, oh, come on, guys, continuity. Why wasn't Aaron kissing him on his eyebrow?
On the eyebrow?
Yes, because Jelena kissed Crichton on the eyebrow in PK Tech Girl, which made me assume that's how peacekeepers kiss.
I don't even worry about it.
They could have just... they only had to start that bit and then just go back to mouth kissing and be done with it. But would have been a very clever, good little reference.
Well. Never mind.
No, it's fine. But
now kiss.
yeah, and she starts taking off her suit and like, oh.
Yeah, things are getting heavy. I mean, they think they're gonna die.
Yeah, makes sense. So I'm like, well, okay, fine,
We've only got half an hour left. Better
just make it quickie.
Exactly, to tear everything off.
And enter Dargo Cockblocker.
Dargo. He's just, the look on his face is like,
Yeah. His face is like, were you two gonna?
It's like, this is, I should.
No. No, it's not that face. It's the face where he's like, surprise and disgust in equal measure. Like,
you two?
Were you gonna, like, right?
Like here?
You're like
in the cap.
Oh.
It's like, hey, come on.
And even the music gets comical at this point, highlighting how awkward this scene is.
And yeah, Crichton is kind of like, oh, hey, buddy, what took you so long? I was like, Doug is like, I needed someone to help me. So they managed to get, and so they do actually manage to get them off, and they go back onto Stan's ship. And Stan's is tied up, by the way.
Because Dargo was kind of fed up with him at this point.
Yeah, he was being really irritating and just be like, go do this thing, you hit the thing over there, and just not shutting up, basically.
I like this. It's a very minor touch, because Dargo has talked about how much this ship smells. And as Aaron walks in, the first thing she does is reach her hand for her nose, like, oh, God. It's just motion, but I love that little detail of Claudia Black adding that.
It's just, it looks like it stinks, let's be honest. It looks really filthy. Stan's is tied up, and he's actually kind of pleading with Dargo. It's like, come with me, Dargo. Yeah. We can go explore and we can go scrap things together. And Dargo's just kind of laughing it off, and Stan's like, I'm lonely. Everyone needs a mate. And it's like, See, my first reaction was, is this maybe this is just an Australian,
Yeah,
you're right, mate, mate. Like,
Exactly.
No. He's like,
Stans is the female of the species.
yeah, like this is revealed. He's like, I am the female of my species. You do know that, right? He's like, this is when we get super awkward Dargo. And he's
props to Dargo. He doesn't react incredibly gross. He's more embarrassed. Like,
yeah.
I
didn't. No, that's I should go.
I could never. No.
Basically, Dargo is speechless, and Stans is like proclaiming how his love for him is like, I love you, Dargo.
I'm actually thinking, like, did the translator microns screw this one up? Like, shouldn't they have translated that as she a lot of the time? Or Or the other thought could be like in the Culture Series books, where at some points get mentioned that there is no difference between genders in how you refer to them. So that could be the microbes being like, okay, we'll just use he for all, I guess. Fine.
I'd have to go back and watch to see if...
I checked the second watch through. It never gets mentioned.
No, what I mean is I have to go back and check to see if other Zenitans, like Krakens or whatever, refer to Stans as male. It's like...
They keep saying he. I'm pretty sure.
I know that the
no she mentioned ever.
I know that the rest of the crew certainly do, because them...
also not Krakens. I specifically checked during my second viewing. I made it a point of checking if they mentioned any of that.
Oh, okay. Huh.
So there was no reference to that. So I'm guessing the translator microns were like, well, only one pronoun. Fine, we'll just go with he. Fine.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's interesting, but that would probably have given away. I mean, obviously, they would have given away.
Of course, story-wise, they couldn't have said that.
What I would have liked to have seen is like they only refer to Stans by her name as like Stans. Or,
yeah.
Where is Stans? Where did you see But anyway,
that also never corrects them. So
it's also, I mean, it's only played for laughs in the sense that it's. Dargo is just super awkward about the whole thing.
Yeah.
And is like, I thought I didn't realize... Oh.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the only way. The joke's mostly on Dargo. In no way does it judge Stans on this one. Because I can totally see Stans being like, yeah, no, this relationship might be interesting. I don't think it's a healthy relationship.
Probably not.
They probably wouldn't be right for each other.
And yeah, so... What I find also funny is, like, he walks away, like, off the ship really awkwardly, and Stans is still tied up. It's like, you're not gonna...
No. At that point, this happens right after they enter the ship, so I'm assuming they just go to a different part of the ship to wait.
We never see Stans get untied,
no.
So who knows?
I'm assuming that happens.
Yeah. I also like that Stans says... She's considered quite the Zenitan beauty.
not to be arrogant, but I'm quite a catch.
And yeah, it's very awkward for everyone involved, really.
Yeah, I feel bad for Stans.
Yeah, and and then we go back to Moya. Everyone has made it back safely, and
hey.
Zan's asking Dargo what happened, and Dargo's kind of beating himself up about it because his indecision nearly cost Crichton and Aaron their lives, and he only just got there in time. And
also, he's like, I mean, had I not been this indecisive, I could have had the maps or John and Aaron, and I should have decided sooner because I failed in every respect.
Yeah, he's also says he's given up now his only chance to ever see his son again. By not getting the fibers, and yeah, it's not a good situation. But
no,
but it seems like he made the right choice. Though that's why he said, I want to be able to look my son in the eye when I do find him, because he made the moral choice.
He did.
Yeah, which I can respect. So yeah, he didn't sell everyone out just to get way home. So that's a change.
Yeah.
That's what a refreshing change of pace. And then we have the final scene, which is this is so good. We have Crichton and Aaron. We have Aaron working at a console up at command, and Crichton sort of walks in, and they're being kind of very awkward about the whole thing. It's like it was heat of the moment, accident. We were going to die. It'll never happen again. No, never.
Had it been you and Dargo, it would have the same thing have happened. Or you and San. Yes, it is.
Yep.
And then John does something I really love. He walks up to her real close and is like, "But to be clear, you are the female of your species, right?"
And they both kind of smile at it,
and then John walks away. And I love Erin's face after this because she looks away, and as he leaves, she looks back, and they both look back at each other, and she both turn away. But we see Erin's face from the front, and she is smiling. No, that was not a mistake. We're probably gonna
Yeah.
Or how we feel about this? Preferably not in a life-threatening situation.
Okay, so I've watched this series before.
Mm-hmm.
You have no idea how hard it has been to not try and foreshadow that until that actually happened. I was like, just pretend you don't know that they're going to try and get together.
I knew that was going to happen. Like, I've seen enough that this.
Yeah. I knew this was going to happen, but I was still very excited watching it. I was like, yay!
To be honest, we have to see how it goes in the next few episodes, but this implies that they're not going to stretch this out endlessly, that they keep going, no, okay, fine. Like, this implies that that they realize, like, well, it's probably more than just the heat of the moment. It's at least worth exploring.
Yeah.
That's what this final scene implied to me. I could be wrong.
I think you're on time. No, I think you're right that, this is going somewhere. This is definitely going somewhere more than just...
It might not mean that they're going to be shagging next episode, but it's probably like, okay, let's take this slow and see where this goes.
And like I said, if you are rewatching this series, then you know exactly where this goes. We're trying to be vague about it, but you know where this goes, and it's... I'm excited.
I know parts of it.
I'm excited.
Like I said, I know the broad strokes.
Yeah, I'm excited to watch it again and seeing its inception. It's like I've said, it's weird to go back and watch the very early episodes because I remember most of the stuff I remember more clearly is from later on, and to actually see this stuff get started is just like oh man.
Yeah, I like that scene a lot, especially Erin's smile at the end.
Yeah.
Like that is her pure joy, which you rarely see from her.
And that's what we end on, and that's the episode. That's the Flax.
I liked it.
Yeah, I liked it too.
Really liked it.
Yeah, this was a really solid episode. You had a bunch of drama, you had a bunch of tension, and it actually moved along pretty quickly. And
Rigel got to do some cool shit.
Yeah, and we had a really amazing set from. We had the interior of Stan's ship, which was looked really good. We also saw the pod. We saw the transport pod controls, which was actually I don't think we've seen before. It's like a 2-seater and it's brass, kind of similar to the inside of Moya, but with some levers around a central console and
really cool.
Basically, it was sort of just those sets. Really, it was like Moya, Stan's ship, and the transport pod was basically all we saw throughout this whole episode. But it was good set. Good set design and really really solid episode. What do you want to give it? Do you want to give it a score?
I'm gonna go for 4 out of 5.
Yep.
There's a few minor things I'm like, keeps it away from a 5 out of 5, but a 4 out of 5 is a solid one.
Definitely. I think I also have to be worried about giving 5 out of 5s out so frequently and so early, because I think. So that we don't have to go back and reevaluate what becomes a 4 of.
I've said it before. There's probably going to be some devaluation of the 4s and 5s at some point as episodes get better.
Artificial inflation.
Inflation. You're right. There's going to be some inflation on this. I've predicted that from the start. That's going to happen.
Man, the ratings economy is just going down the tang.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Not knowing how the episodes following are going to pan out, it could be that what used to be a 5 should have been a 4.
We'll just print more 5s. That's how that works, right?
Yeah, that'll solve the problem.
I don't know, time was an episode. You could get 3 episodes for 10 points. Now you have to get 50 of them to get 1 episode. But yeah, I would agree with that 4 out of 5, and we're still not disagreeing with Farscape World, or the general fan consensus seems to also be 4 out of 5. So, I mean, hey, it's
one day
good
I'm going to
episode.
disagree with them.
Yeah, I can see it being. What I can see happening is I'm expecting that they're going to rate an episode highly that we're going to rate lowly, rather than the other way around.
Yeah, that's what I'm expecting as well.
But we'll wait and see. But yeah, this was a really good one. Yeah, and we've developed relationships, and oh boy, have we ever developed a relationship here.
Hell yeah.
That's what I call character development. And so that's going to be a lot of fun to watch that unfold over the next over the rest of the series. Yeah. But yeah, there we go. That's this episode. That was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun watching this episode. The technical issues of recording aside, we got it. We're there. We've got it done.
Yeah.
It's a thing. It's finished.
It's an episode now.
Yes, and we hope you enjoyed it. So yeah, and that'll be it from us this week. And we'll be back next week, like I said. And the episode we'll be back with is called Jeremiah Crichton.
Ooh. I've seen a picture of this episode. I'm going to be interested.
It involves Crichton with a beard.
Yeah. That's the picture I saw.
Yeah, so he I'll give you a quick, very brief summary. He crash lands on a planet with inhabitants that were once ruled by Hynerians.
Oh.
Yeah. So this is going to be interesting.
Nice.
So yeah, that'll be next week, and we'll see you then. In the meantime, if you want to support this podcast, you can check out the Can't Wear Hats Patreon, patreon.com/can'twearhats, which brings you this podcast, live streams on Twitch, and all my other projects. If you want to get in touch with us, you can find us both on Twitter. I'm at Can't Wear Hats, and Red is at Vidalcan
Yes.
And if you want to, you can leave us a comment on the YouTube page, which has archives of the podcast, youtube.com/can'twearhats, of course. And yeah, we'll see you next time. Until then, goodbye!
Okay, Hats, I need you to ram that 3 times every minute. Just
3 times every minute. Got it. Okay.
Sorry, every second.
Every second. Right.
Faster,
Yeah. Right.
faster.
Yeah. Ramming it.
Okay.
Ramming it.
I'm trying to work. God,
Push it down. Left hand down. Left hand.
Right, left hand down, right hand up.
No. Left hand. Right. Yeah. That's it. Keep it doing.
Work,
Yeah.
damn it,
We'll
work.
get the podcast going. We're not going to crash again.
Not crashing again.
Not this time.
Yes.